This American city is over 100 years old, and it still kidnaps people. I need you to listen carefully, because this is not a ghost story. This is an incident hidden by official records, and it's still happening in the United States. If you've ever driven through rural America, long highways, endless trees, no signal, then this story should terrify you, because this city is real, and if you ever find it, you may never leave. A city that shouldn't exist. More than 100 years ago, in 1824, a city named Grey Ridge was founded somewhere in the Midwest of the United States. It was a working city. Coal mines, railroads, churches, families. By 1910, over 4,000 people lived there. But something strange began happening. People started disappearing. Not running away, not dying, just vanishing. On April 14, 1929, Grey Ridge went silent. Mail stopped arriving. Trains stopped reporting the station. No phone calls came out. When state officials finally sent investigators, they found nothing. No bodies, no fire, no destruction. Just an empty city. Dinner still warm on tables, beds unmade, baby cribs rocking slightly, with no babies inside. Official reports labeled it mass evacuation due to unknown causes. Then, Grey Ridge was erased from maps and locked behind classified files. Locals around the forest still whispered about it. They said, "Never drive after midnight, never follow unfamiliar roads, and never respond if you hear your name, especially at 2:17 a.m. No one explained why. In October 2009, 5 urban explorers entered restricted forest land while filming abandoned railroad routes. Their GPS failed, phones went dead, the fog became thick. Then, a city appeared. Streetlights glowing, buildings standing, a clock tower frozen at 2:17 a.m. They had found Grey Ridge. At the entrance stood a metal sign, Grey Ridge, founded 1824. Below it, carved by hand, "If you hear your name, don't answer." They recorded it. They laughed. That laughter would be the last sound 3 of them ever made. Inside, everything was preserved. Old cars parked neatly, shops fully stocked, a movie theater advertising a film from 1929. But no people, no animals, no birds. Even sound felt swallowed. Then the radios turned on. Static, music from the 1920s, playing by themselves. At exactly 2:17 a.m., every streetlight turned on at once. The temperature dropped, breath became visible, and footsteps echoed from inside the walls. One explorer whispered, "Did someone just say my name?" No one answered, but the whisper returned, in his own voice, right behind him. From the fog, figures appeared. Men, women, children, wearing old clothes, smiling, eyes too wide. They didn't walk, they glided. One waved, another tilted its head unnaturally, and then one explorer screamed. His body was dragged into the darkness. No blood, no sound, just absence. The camera recorded what human eyes missed. The figures had no shadows, no reflections, and their mouths moved, but the voices came from inside the explorers' heads, calling their names, begging, threatening. They ran, but the roads looped back. Every exit returned them to the clock tower. On the courthouse wall, hundreds of names carved into stone, each followed by the same words, "Stayed past 2:17. One new name was still being carved, slowly, fresh stone dust falling, Out of 5 explorers, only 1 returned, found barefoot miles away. He screamed non-stop, "The city remembers you once you see it." Doctors diagnosed severe trauma. Before he disappeared from records, he said one final thing: Gray Ridge feeds on attention. It exists as long as people notice it. One leaked frame from the footage survived. It showed the city sign again, but it had changed. Gray Ridge, population growing. The clock tower, still frozen at 2:17 a.m. Final warning: if you ever drive through America and your GPS goes silent and fog rolls in and you see a city that doesn't belong, do not stop, do not film, do not speak. And if you hear your name whispered, do not answer, because Gray Ridge is over 100 years old and it is still hungry. This story comes from a sealed police audio file. It was never meant to be released, but once you hear it, you'll understand why some roads in America have no names. If you have ever driven alone at night in the United States, miles from the nearest town, radio full of static, no phone signal, then listen carefully, because there is a road that only appears after midnight, and people who enter it rarely come back the same. At 12:43 a.m., a 911 operator in Nevada received a call. The caller was a man in his early 30s. His voice was shaking. He said, "I think I'm driving in circles, but my GPS says I'm on a road that doesn't exist." The dispatcher asked for the road name. There was silence. Then the man whispered, "The sign just changed." The man explained that he had taken a shortcut through the desert. At exactly 12:17 a.m., his radio shut off. Then the road changed. The asphalt became older, cracked, faded. Streetlights appeared, but they were too far apart and gave off a weak yellow glow. There were no mile markers, no exits, just one sign ahead. It didn't have a name, only a date, Est 1911. The dispatcher told him to turn around. He tried, but the road behind him was gone. In its place, darkness, like the world ended there. Then the man said, "Someone's standing under the light." The dispatcher asked him to describe the person. He paused. "It looks like a man, but he's not moving." The headlights passed over the figure. The man gasped. "His face is smiling, but his eyes are closed." The dispatcher told him not to stop. That's when the man said something that changed the call forever. "There are more of them now." The radio suddenly came back to life. Not music, voices. Hundreds of voices, all talking at once. Then, silence. A single voice came through, clear, calm, speaking the driver's full name. The dispatcher heard it too. The dispatcher pulled archived records. In 1911, a mining road was built in that exact area. Within 6 months, every worker disappeared. The road was sealed, buried, officially erased. Locals called it the last route. They believed the road was hungry and it learned names. The driver screamed. The sign changed again. Now it read, "No turning back after 12:30. The dispatcher begged him to keep driving, never slow down, never stop. That's when the car stalled. Breathing was heard on the call, not the driver's, slow, close. Then footsteps, crunching gravel, right outside the car. The man whispered, "They're smiling wider." One of them knocked on the window, once, twice. Then all of them knocked at the same time. The dispatcher heard a door open. The driver screamed, "The road is inside the car!" Static exploded. Then Silence. The call ended at 12:59 a.m. Police found the man's car at sunrise, parked perfectly on the shoulder, engine cold, no damage, no footprints. The driver was gone. On the dashboard was a note scratched into dust. "Thank you for stopping." The road behind the car didn't exist. No asphalt, no tire tracks, just desert, and one faded sign lying in the sand. It read, "Next stop, you." If you're driving in America after midnight and your radio goes silent and you see a road sign with no name, do not slow down. Do not read the sign. And if the radio says your name, do not answer. Because some roads don't lead anywhere. They lead to someone else taking your place.